I, 20 female, have a toddler son, and it was a complicated situation when I had him. My parents said that they'd only provide me with my room, and I had to care for the baby myself. It was hard, but it worked out in the end. My parents treat my son a lot nicer now, too. My younger brother, a young teen, is the best. In fact, my son looks up to him, and my brother adores him. My son made this drawing of him and my brother and gave it to my brother for his birthday. My brother loved it so much that he brushed off the presents my parents and I gave him. It upset my parents, but they kept their mouths shut. My son draws so many pictures of him and his uncle now, and he gives every single one to my brother, and my brother puts every single one on his wall. My brother was at a sleepover, and I had taken my son out for a fun day. When we returned, my son ran to my brother's room to show him something. The door was wide open, and the first thing he noticed was that all his drawings were gone. He just began to cry and cry, and it took forever to calm him down. He eventually went to sleep. My brother came back the next day, and when he went to hug my son, he started to cry. My brother was confused, so I told him he saw the empty wall. My brother was still confused, so he went to his room and returned really upset. He said that he didn't do that, and he's actually going to cry as well because he liked those drawings. My mom came down, and he immediately confronted her, and she just said that she didn't realize how much he liked those drawings and took them down while she was cleaning his room. I was mostly shocked. She was there the night before when my son saw the wall and started crying, and she was comforting my son and everything. I felt betrayed. I called her out for how she acted last night, and she told me to relax, that I'm not allowed to speak to her that way. I honestly lost it, and I called her a heartless witch. My own mother. I felt bad the second I said it, but it felt good too. My mom looked so shocked and just turned back and went to her room. My dad confronted me later and yelled at me for what I said. He said that regardless of what she did, she's my mom. And when he wanted to kick me out, Mom was the one who convinced him to let me and my baby stay. Am I the idiot? I feel guilty now. Edit. She didn't take them down temporarily. She took them down and threw them out. And it wasn't just random drawings stuck to a wall. It was organized and laid out carefully. Not the idiot. Wow, your mom has some serious jealousy issues going on there. I really hope she doesn't cause any damage to the relationship between your brother and your son. You can't apologize for calling her a heartless witch for your own conscience. And if this was a genuinely out of character thing for her to do, but don't back down on pointing out how what she did was wrong and hurt both her son and grandson immensely. There was no good reason for her to throw those drawings out. She couldn't justify it either. I mean, I feel like it's pretty heartless to do a thing, watch your young grandson break down crying over it, and sit there and comfort him while he's upset. All the while, you have the power to undo what you did, but you choose to sit there watching the hurt you've caused instead. I'm also wondering if she was cleaning her son's room, or cleaning his room. By mid-teens, he's definitely old enough to clean his room himself. So I'm wondering if the cleaning was just an excuse to snoop and get rid of things she didn't like. Also, doing this when all of them were out of the house, it sounds like this woman has an unhealthy relationship with all the kids in her life, including OP. Sounds like your mom's playing mind games. It's obvious that the drawings meant a lot to both your son and your brother. A young teen wouldn't put stuff up over their walls that they don't want up. Sounds like she was just stirring the pot purposefully to get a reaction from you so that she could then come in and save the day by letting you stay. So she caused the issue, and she's the good guy in the situation. Also, your mom doesn't get an award for being a decent parent when your dad wants to throw you out. That was quite literally her job. This reeks of her needing to be the mom. They wanted it hard on you so you would see how difficult raising a child is. You've been succeeding, and now they want to play too. She's jealous of a situation that's her own creation. Instead of being happy that her family loves one another, she's upset that she's not the glue keeping everyone together. My husband, 35 male, and I, 28 female, have 2 beautiful children. a male kindergartner, and a female toddler, and I'm currently pregnant with my third child. Recently, my mother-in-law has fallen onto hard times and lost her apartment. My husband invited her to live with us, which I wasn't originally happy about because with the little one on the way, I wanted time to focus on our family, but I ultimately understood that it was a special circumstance. The problem is that mother-in-law has really changed since she got here. We used to have a relatively good relationship, but she's increasingly being demanding and unreasonable. I know it's a hard time, so I've tried to be accommodating, but it's all getting to be too much. For example, she's been asking that we buy specific brands when getting groceries, which would be fine if they were just for her, but she's been insisting that the cereal brand we feed my kids isn't healthy and they have to eat a different brand. The one we buy is the one they like, and it's relatively healthy for cereal. She's also been moving our furniture around, primarily the guest room that she's staying in, but recently, she had my husband swap the couch and the armchair in the living room while I was out running errands. All this is fine. I love my husband and my mother-in-law and can understand what she's going through, so I can deal with it. It all finally came to a boiling point last night. My husband and I have been disagreeing lately. Usually, my husband makes his own lunch to take with him to work. However, since I've recently quit my job to become a stay-at-home mom, he thinks I should start making his lunch, along with the children's lunches. My husband goes to work an hour and a half before the children go to daycare. I currently wake up around when he leaves for work and have plenty of time to prepare the kids and make their lunches. If I were to make his lunch, I have to get up way earlier. We're at an impasse on this issue right now. Apparently, he complained to his mother about it because she confronted me last night about being a bad wife. In her words, I'm not good enough for her son if I can't even make this one sacrifice to make him happy. Being confronted like this just made me so mad, and I don't even know why. I snapped and yelled back at her and said some things I regretted. Now my husband expects me to apologize to my mother-in-law and start packing his lunch, and neither of them are talking to me until then. My husband and I have never had problems like this before. He's always been so good to me. I'm worried that I'm overreacting and making an already difficult time even harder. I've never snapped like that before, but I feel just so overwhelmed, and I don't have anyone in real life to talk to about this because my family doesn't understand my relationship with my husband and doesn't support us. So, am I the idiot if I hold my ground? Not the idiot. A grown man who can't even make his own lunch is pathetic. You and your husband need to have a discussion so that both of you are on the same page with things. With his mother in the house, he has to be 100% with you on everything that involves your team. And clearly, you guys need to start making other arrangements for mommy. This will likely only get worse. He's 35, definitely old enough to make his own lunch. If you decide to make it, give him a kid's meal, a peanut butter sandwich, a cheese stick, and one cookie. If he's going to act like a kid, he can eat like one. As for mother-in-law, she needs to be reminded that she's just a guest in your home, not a permanent resident. OMG, he goes crying to mommy. Pathetic is putting it mildly. Time for mommy to leave their house ASAP. Hun, she's inserting herself into your business, disrupting your marriage, and making your husband even more selfish and inconsiderate than he was before. Get her out. I, 33 female, and my fiance, 35 male, have been engaged for about 2 years. Recently, I've been pushing him about a date, and he insisted that we get our finances in order first, to him meaning debt-free, including the wedding. Of course, he's willing to take as much money as my dad will give for it. The background is right after the global issue. He got really into financial TikTok / Dave Ramsey, blah, 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 and insisted we both become debt-free. We both agreed, but he took it super seriously, selling everything. People were worried about him and getting a second full-time job. To his credit, he paid off about $60K in a year. Meanwhile, I've been finishing my second master's and have been accepted into a PhD program. I also want to enjoy my early 30s by attending events and going on trips with my friends. Currently, between student loans, $125K, my car, $25K, and credit cards, about $10K, I'm in some pretty high debt, but anticipate my salary to be around $200K in 3 years, or double what he's currently bringing home. When I told him I was accepted to the doctoral programs, he lost it. He said a ton of hurtful things about me not growing up. I feel like he's not supporting my dreams and may just have a problem with the fact that I'll have a PhD while he has a master's. I also think political differences are becoming more apparent. He'll say things like, "You're dumb for waiting for student loan forgiveness." I feel like he's trying to hold me back from my dreams. So, am I the idiot for not following his advice? If you're expecting him to just be okay with you taking your financial situation and hoping him to marry into your debt, then you are the idiot. I don't know what sort of doctorate you're doing, but I know it takes years after graduating in science to make the kind of money you're talking about. So what are you going to do for money while you're in school? Can you afford to live off whatever stipend you get? I mean, she has a $25K car. Why spend so much on a car loan when you're a student? That tells everything. OP, it is a lot of debt. I can't fathom spending freely on events and friend trips with that kind of debt amassing. Every purchase would be something I'd have to convince myself to do. You are the idiot for expecting anyone to burden themselves with your truly outstanding debt in legal matrimony. Either marriage or the PhD has to wait. Oh boy, she's banking on a job she doesn't have, and on student loan forgiveness, and a fiancé who's going to dump her soon, and she has ballooning CC debt. Holy cow. Honey, are you sure he's trying to hold you back from your dreams? Or is he trying to prevent you, and by extension him, from taking on a suffocating level of debt? I'm too skeptical of a $200K salary right after graduation. You have 2 masters already. Adding a 3rd or 4-year program on that screams professional student, especially with your comment about enjoying life. This discussion happened 2 weeks ago. My stepdad told me, teen female, that we could change my last name to his if I really wanted to have the family name instead of being the odd one out in the house. He also told me he would love to share his last name with me, and I might not be his daughter by blood, but he always considered me his daughter. I told him I didn't want to change my last name, but thanks for the offer. He said we could have the same last name though, and I told him I didn't want his last name, that I loved my last name and wanted to keep it. The story of our relationship is as follows. My parents were divorced by the time I was 1, and my older sister was 8. My mom met and married my stepdad within 18 months. She and my dad shared custody of my sister and me. My stepdad came into the marriage with no children and had 3 boys with my mom, no girls. My sister was older and never saw him as more than mom's husband. He did try, but I think he realized early on that she had decided what they were and never pushed. He was more invested in trying to become a second dad to me. There were many times he was uncomfortable once I was old enough to realize what was going on, from the age of 5 pretty much. My dad died 4 years ago. He turned to drugs and he died within a year. My sister and I were devastated. We both adored our dad and our paternal family, and we lost all of them within a year of each other. My sister got married last year and asked me to walk her down the aisle and dance with her. He also felt slighted that he was just listed as mom's husband and not a parent in the digital book she supplied everyone with. I think all of this has led to this moment. He and mom both expected my sister and me to see our dad differently, especially when he died of addiction. But he was still my dad, and regardless of that last year, he was our only dad and was a great dad to us in the years before that, and I believe he still loved us both. My stepdad didn't like how I turned down his offer. He told mom about the offer and what I said. Both of them set me down and said I was too dismissive of his feelings and that I should have considered it more. He told me he's here and he loves me and he wants to feel like he won't be pushed aside for the rest of his life by me. My mom said that I might love my dad, but the way he turned out that last year, I should see that he wasn't perfect and be more willing to meet my stepdad for a more enriching relationship. Am I the idiot? Also, yes, I am in therapy. You are not the idiot. I have a special distaste for partners and step-parents who push themselves into a parental role for a child without regarding the feelings or needs of the child about it. And I'm not a big fan of parents who are permissive of their partners doing that. I'm sure he's probably a decent guy, and he means well, and he cares very deeply for you. But you decide who he is to you, not him. So if he cares about you, he must understand that this isn't about him. Don't let yourself be gaslit into something you're uncomfortable with by people you love. Even if they mean well and even if you care for them, you'll resent them for it eventually. So aside from being pressured into stuff you dislike, you're not even doing them a favor. None of their chief concern is for you. If you care about being seen as a parent, it should be. It can also be meaningful if your mom and stepdad acknowledge your feelings for your dad. Heck, I didn't change my name when I got married. I don't see why you would do this. You're who you are. But honestly, to me, it sounds like they want to erase your dad from your life, like he never even existed. My male 23 friend, Molly, female 22, is pregnant. She was dating this guy, but he left her when she found out she was pregnant. Molly and I have been friends for about 4 years now. So as I feel bad about the situation, I agreed with her to help her out. I told her she could count on me as her child's dad, which meant I could take her to appointments, buy stuff for her, help her around her apartment, and do whatever else she needed, since I guessed that she'd need a lot of help now. My older sister had a hard time when she had my nephew, and my brother-in-law was around, so I'm guessing it'll be much harder to do everything alone. My girlfriend, Ash, 23, is unhappy with my agreement with Molly. She's basically jealous because I helped Molly out. For example, the other day, she got angry because I went to a doctor's appointment with her. I don't go in, I wait outside. Sometimes I also buy snacks and stuff that I know she likes, or medicine if she needs it. My girlfriend thinks I'm overstepping and shouldn't get myself into this, or people will think it's my baby. I told her that was a dumb reason not to help a friend. She also thinks I'm spending too much time with Molly now, which is not okay, because I always spend time with her. I don't think I'm spending more time with her now than I did before. Molly and I were talking, and she said it'd be nice if I'm with her in the delivery room, since I've been a lot of support for her, and she'll need support while giving birth too. I told her I'd love to support her as best I can, and if she wants that, then I can do it. Later, Ash and I were talking, and I told her this. We had an argument, and she tried to get me to tell Molly that I won't be helping her anymore, or that I'll just be helping her a little during emergencies. I told her I won't do that. I had already committed to help her and her baby once it's born, and I won't go back on my word now. She got upset and left, and now she's not talking to me. Am I the idiot for trying to help? You promised what? OMG, you are the idiot. You've overstepped the friend boundary. You even said you'll be the baby's father? So you're basically in 2 relationships, just without the physical stuff? How long have you been in love with Molly? Sounds like about 4 years, LOL. Oh, baby mama will convince him to be on the birth certificate since he's such a good guy, and it would really help. This dude is so clueless. He's voluntarily getting roped in for 18 years of child support. Dude, what you're doing is plain weird. Also, have you considered that being a dad is not casual and it's a lifetime commitment? Think carefully. There's no going back once the child and the birth certificate gets attached to you. I agree. From the beginning, I thought he was helping out a friend in need, up until I read that he had a girlfriend. A girlfriend. It's nice that he wants to help out, but that's only if he and his girlfriend are on the same page. He's the idiot for not even considering her feelings when making such an important decision. But honestly, I'm beginning to think he might have been there the night that Molly got pregnant. She's probably loving having a new baby daddy though. LOL, that's giving him too much credit. He's the pick-me guy who couldn't get the girl he likes to actually like him, but now she's alone, and he's good enough now. Still not good enough for her to sleep with him, though. I don't think any woman would accept their partner running after a pregnant woman and telling her he'll be the dad. His girlfriend needs to run. My brother, 29 male, got engaged to his fiancée, 28 female, this summer. They're planning on getting married next spring, early summer. They've been working on putting their wedding party together, and they did a video call with me, 32 female, a couple of weeks ago to ask me to be a bridesmaid. I, of course, agreed because I love them both and I'm very happy for them. However, during the call and after I'd already agreed to be a bridesmaid, my brother dropped a bomb on me. He said he hopes this doesn't cause any issues, but he wants to ask my ex-husband, 30, to be one of his groomsmen. My initial reaction was not the best. I basically said, "What? Why? Are you serious? What the heck?" For some history, my ex and I were high school sweethearts and married young. We were both 23 when we married and divorced by the time we turned 25. There was no infidelity or abuse of any kind, just a toxic relationship we were too young to recognize properly, and eventually, we got to a point in our marriage where we just hated each other. Thankfully, we never had kids, and we were too young to have many assets, so the divorce was easy since neither of us wanted anything to do with the other. I moved away, got a new job, and started a new life. My ex stayed in our hometown, where my brother currently lives. I haven't spoken to my ex in almost 5 years. Obviously, my brother has known my ex for a long time, and they were always close. Apparently, they remained close friends after the divorce, even though my brother never mentioned it to me. My brother told me that he understands this might be awkward, but it's just for one day. And it's not like my ex and I will have to walk down the aisle together. He said that they would try to do whatever they can to keep distance between us if needed, but that my ex and I are very important people to him, and he wants both of us involved in his wedding. I know a lot of people will probably call me petty and immature, but I want nothing to do with my ex. There's a reason I haven't spoken to him in so long. I have no desire to speak to him, let alone be in the same wedding party as him. There will be a lot of wedding party activities that will involve being in close proximity to him for extended periods of time. I want nothing to do with that. I explained all of this to my brother and told him that if he's going to keep my ex as a groomsman, I don't think I can be a bridesmaid, and I might have to reconsider even attending the wedding. This led to a lot of back and forth with my brother, trying to bargain with me and convince me that it wouldn't be that big of an issue, and telling him this was non-negotiable for me. Since that conversation, I've been contacted by our other sister, 26, and my mom pretty much telling me to grow up, that I'm being petty and immature, and that I can handle being in the same general area as my ex for a short period to support my brother. Am I the idiot for refusing to go to my brother's wedding? It's his day. Your brother can invite whoever he wants to participate, but you don't have to accept the invitation. Everyone likes to crow that line about blood is thicker than water, so maybe your brother could consider who's most important to him at his wedding. Not the idiot for choosing not to go if your ex is there, and your family's definitely the idiot for failing to understand your position and badgering you about it. I disagree. I don't understand why she wouldn't be willing to attend the wedding. If she's just attending the wedding as a guest, she wouldn't really have to interact with him at all. If she's been away for 5 years and her brother's close with her ex, I can understand why her brother would want him there. I've been through my own divorce, so I understand not wanting to see your ex, but she could deal with seeing him and not interacting with him for a couple of hours for her brother. The unwillingness to attend the wedding, in my opinion, makes her an idiot. I'm with OP's family. This feels petty. I've been to weddings with my ex. You haven't spoken in 5 years, so keep on not speaking to each other. If he tries to talk, move along and ignore that he's there. OP, take a step back from yourself for a minute. Decline to be a bridesmaid if you're uncomfortable with that. That's a perfectly reasonable boundary. But if you don't go, I think you are the idiot. I'm a young mother-in-law. I'm only 39. I had my kids pretty young, and I'm very lucky my husband makes a lot of money, so I don't have to work. I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time, and once they started to spread their wings, instead of going to work, my husband and I decided I'd be a homemaker and be active in the community. That's what I've been up to, and I try to make the community a better place. Now, my oldest son is 22 and married, and I was really excited until I met her. In general, she's a very blunt and very business-focused person. I actively dislike her, but try to be polite for my son's sake. A few examples of why I don't like her are her wedding gift I handed over, saying it was from me and my husband. She responded with, "Just your husband, since I know your money didn't pay for it." Saying I'm volunteering, well, that's not a real job, since it doesn't really make money. It's passive-aggressive, and yes, I've talked to my son about it, and even once with her to try to clear the air. We had a get-together last night, and I made a homemade meal. When I was plating everything, she commented, "No wonder I could make a home-cooked meal. I don't do anything else with my day." I lost it and told her she needed to respect me or get out of my house. She was shocked and started to cry when I kicked her out. My son was angry, and we had a huge argument, and he called me a huge idiot. I need an outside opinion. Edit. My husband hates her, and I had to drag him to the wedding only so I wouldn't destroy his and our kids' relationships. Wow, she's a total idiot. Just because you don't conform to her business-focused personality doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. You and your husband have worked for the two of you, and you volunteer for the community. Whether it pays or not doesn't take away from the commitment and responsibility you show to others. Daughter-in-law is a piece of work. I hate to say this, but it sounds like your son doesn't respect you. She acted like she was better than you more than once, and your son should have nipped that in the bud the first time. Basic respect for the partner's parents should be a hill to die on, in my opinion. Honestly, you should sit him down, and the three of you, son's wife, and see what the heck is going on. This woman might be twisting facts or not. If he can't see how wrong her behavior is and doesn't check her, I'd just minimize the contact with both for as long as needed, preferably till he comes to his senses. I won a substantial lawsuit against my city. It's a lot of money, and I did what I always said I would do if I ever won the lottery. I paid off my parents' mortgage, and I bought a duplex and gave each half to my brother and sister. I'm investing the rest of the money so I'll never have to work again and enjoy the rest of my life. My family had me over last weekend because I'm leaving for Indonesia to begin traveling worldwide. They said that we have family and friends who need help, and that I was selfishly blowing the money on myself and basically retiring at 29. I said that I'd already done a lot for my immediate family, and that if they felt so strongly about it, between the three of them, they had over $1 million in equity that they could tap with a loan. Then they could work to pay off their new mortgages. It started a fight because my dad had cut back on his work. After all, he no longer has a mortgage, and neither of my siblings would qualify for a mortgage on their own. I walked out and went home to finish packing. They won't stop texting me and trying to call me. Apparently, I need to work for the next 30 years. I don't. My girlfriend is joining me for a year and thinks I'm being mean. I don't think I am. I have enough to last me the rest of my life. If I ever want a house, I can buy one. If I want kids, I can pay for their education. But not if I give away a big chunk of my money to people I know for a fact would never help me in return. Not the idiot. I'm confident in saying your family went ahead and made promises before talking to you. That's why they're freaking out. Tell your girlfriend that if she's worried, you can cancel her ticket so she can stay and help. They're so entirely out of line that it's unreal. Go travel the world and enjoy yourself. Exactly. Tell your girlfriend if she wants to be a saint, her ticket can be sold off to help her heal her guilty conscience. Honestly, This post makes my blood boil because, first of all, it is OP's money. I really like OP's mindset about saving the money and retiring at 29 because that's everyone's dream. You bought your immediate family houses. You've set them up for life. How could anybody see that as mean? Dude, change your number and be careful of the girlfriend who wants you to give away more of your money to ungrateful people. Greed knows no bounds. Your family will spend all of your money if you let them. It doesn't hurt them any to be the one who promises second cousin a car, and they get to puff out their chest and walk around like they're the ones who should be adored. My male 33, wife 25, seems to be a workaholic and is obsessed with her work. She recently graduated with her master's, but she's been supporting herself since she was 18 by running an Etsy shop. I got laid off 3 years ago and have been unable to find a job ever since. Apart from working, my wife also writes books as a hobby, which she wants to self-publish once she finishes edits. She's written 2 so far. She's also just started a YouTube channel. You'd think that was enough, right? Wrong. She also goes swimming 3 times a week and has language classes. It's ridiculous. I had some friends over a few nights ago, and we played games and had a beer. My wife doesn't like my mates, but they brought their girlfriends and wives so that she could have made an effort. Instead, she told me she didn't even know they were coming, as I didn't tell her I invited them, and she already had plans. She locked herself up in her office to write her book, a script or whatever. I was angry. I texted her multiple times, but she ignored me. When she went to the kitchen to get water, I confronted her and told her she was a workaholic and money obsessed. My friends heard it, and she dared to say that she wouldn't have to work this much if it wasn't for my debt. I told her she was out of line. She called me an idiot and some other things. She slept on the couch in her office that night, her decision, and we're not on speaking terms. My mates agree with me. They generally think she's stuck up anyway, but said I was the idiot for airing dirty laundry publicly and should have addressed it privately. I guess they're right, and I'm the idiot for that, but I was angry. I wonder if I was the idiot, because if so, I need to apologize and bring these issues up privately. I'm so mad typing this on my new phone. Edit. We don't really have chores. We're 2 adults. So it's mainly washing up and tidying up once a week. No one asked her to work so much. I feel like she doesn't even have time to spend with me. She's always busy, working, cleaning, and writing, and doesn't hang out with my friends. How are you going to ridicule your wife for being ambitious and working hard to clear your debt and pay for your costs too when you're jobless, contributing nothing financially, playing games and buying a new phone? Why aren't you working? Do you handle all of the household chores and maintenance? What do you do for your wife while she's working several jobs and trying to have a life? You are the idiot, mate. If you want an ex-wife, you're well on your way, man. She's 8 years younger, but clearly has her head screwed on better than this mooch. How do you not have your crap together at 33? She should dump your butt. Go be happy with all her hobbies and interests without your BS. This is your answer. He doesn't even know chores exist. OP's wife has been carrying his butt since she was 22. She had just completed her master's degree, so most people she knew when she was 22 were graduating from college and just entering the workforce, i.e. her first full-time job. Instead, she was financially supporting her older husband, who should have had life, i.e. job, finances, long-term goals, figured out before he even met her. If I were her, I'd wonder why I wasted the last 3 years on an unappreciative leech and looking for the door. 25 is too young for her to live this way. She probably isn't happy now, but she could be happy in the future. Ugh, this guy is insufferable. I, 36 male, went to a wedding with my girlfriend, 32, of about 6 months. I didn't really want to go to the wedding of someone I didn't know, but I'm a good boyfriend and did it for her. It was a beautiful wedding and all that jazz. She had fun introducing me to people. Fast forward to the reception. I'm a good dancer. I used to dance competitively. I pride myself on being a good dancer. My girlfriend is average at best. She's beautiful. She has other talents. Dancing is not one of them. We were on the dance floor, and I felt like people were looking at us. I get a bit anxious, and one of my realizations was that people probably saw how differently my girlfriend and I dance. It was making me a bit self-conscious. Then a line dance song came on, and she said she'd sit it out because she didn't know it. Not knowing anyone at the wedding, I gravitated towards a bridesmaid, 30-ish female, I guess because she looked familiar. I danced next to her in the line dance, and when the song was over, we just started dancing together. She had a great rhythm and it was fun. She was a bit tipsy and was kind of flirty, but to me, it was just dancing. We danced several more times during the night. No slow dancing, obviously. I felt much better dancing with her because she didn't make it look so out of sync like my girlfriend. My girlfriend stopped dancing, and I thought it was because she was tired. Later on the ride to the hotel, she tells me, I flirted with the bridesmaid all night. I was stunned. We were dancing. Dancing is not flirting. I told her that I like to dance and that I need someone with a similar skill level if I'm going to be comfortable doing it in public when I don't know people. I know that was mean to say, but it's the truth. I also figured it would eliminate the whole flirting thing, even if it still hurt her feelings. She doubled down and said it sounded like I wanted the bridesmaid because she's a good dancer. I admitted that I am attracted to good dancers, because who isn't? But that wasn't a deal breaker for me and my girlfriend, and I would have never made a move on the bridesmaid. It was just dancing. Apparently, even a couple of her nosy friends commented on it. I guess the bridesmaid is known for being a bit of a promiscuous person, but I wasn't into her. I feel like it's harmless fun. Girlfriend seems to feel like dancing is not just dancing. I'm scared we'll break up over this. Am I the idiot for dancing with the bridesmaid or being honest with my not so great of a dancer girl? You are the idiot. It was incredibly disrespectful. It's inconsiderate of your girlfriend's feelings to not even think about whether she might, I don't know, want to spend time with you instead of watching you dance with a random bridesmaid. She had to endure countless comments asking why you were paying more attention to that bridesmaid than her. Had to wonder when you were going to stop dancing with another girl to spend time with her. Also the line, not knowing anyone at the wedding, I gravitated towards a bridesmaid, 30-ish female. I guess because she looked familiar or whatever. Raised my eyebrows a bit. Gravitated towards this particular bridesmaid because she looked familiar, as in, she was standing next to the bride at the ceremony, so she's the only familiar face on the dance floor. I'll go dance with her, I guess. Sure, buddy. The fact he thinks people care about his dancing skills is hilarious, but let's take dancing out of it. He spent all night hanging out with a flirty woman who wasn't his girlfriend. Then he's shocked, I tell you, that his girlfriend was upset. And then he insulted her by comparing her unfavorably to the flirty woman. Even if he wasn't into the bridesmaid, which he admits he was, he prioritized his desires over his girlfriend's feelings, abandoned her, got defensive and lashed out when he was called out on his BS. That's just incomprehensibly stupid. What an idiot. A 36-year-old idiot. LMAO. I just can't stop picturing a full-grown adult at a random wedding. I just have to dance in there. I'll show them. You're a moron for thinking anybody gives a crap about your girlfriend's merely average dancing, undermining the marvelous spectacle of your far superior dancing. Your anxiety about this is bizarre, and your willingness to hurt your girlfriend's feelings to feed your ego is troubling. You're almost 40. Get help.